Alright, I promise this one was probably going to be a little bit on the shorter side instead of the normal 20 to like 30 minutes, but this one's been bugging me for a hot minute. And when we get started, you might understand, or you probably already just read the freaking episode title, so there's that. But regardless, I hope you're having a fan-freaking-tastic day. And my wife left me. I was supposed to follow her. Anyways, I hope you're having a fantastic day. And it is just going super swell. And yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. Is it just me, genuinely, or does anyone actually use their drone as much as they think they would? Because I genuinely do not. And I bring it almost everywhere. And this thing takes up space. I make sure it's charged. I make sure it has its own SD card. Like, there's so much thought that always gets carried with it. But at the same time, it's either... So, the first few things that happen is either A, it's way too windy. I have the Mini 3 Pro, and like I'm in Florida, and believe it or not, it's windy here a lot of the time because near the beach, we just get a lot of wind from there, and I don't know, it's just for some reason, it's always, majority of the time, it's just too windy, I can't even fly it. Number two, it rains a lot here. So a second one dealing with weather is that it just freaking windy all the time, bro. And that's annoying. So, like, wind is just gussing, and if it's not windy, it's freaking pouring. So, I'm not fixing to fly that guy in the rain like that. I feel like it's just not smart. You let me know if you've flown yours in the rain before. I am not that daring. Just the same as like when they tell you, hey, your camera is like water resistant. I will not take it out in the rain regardless. Like, I just won't do it. And I don't know. On top of that one, I feel like I don't have time. Like, when it comes down to it, so I shoot weddings a lot, and when I can fly, which is another point, I feel like I just run out of time, or there's just no time to actually drone. So either I'm left with going back the next day, back to the venue to like film and stuff like that and drone. Like, it's just a whole nother chore, and it just doesn't end up being worth it for, like, let's be honest, 6-7 seconds worth of footage, like, that I'm actually going to use in the film. So, I don't know, that just doesn't seem worth it to me. And then, lastly, here in Florida, at least in Jacksonville, okay, like, if you didn't know already, I live in Jacksonville. It's like a military city. Just gonna throw that out there. We have a big naval base everywhere. We have NAS Jax, we got like Cecil Field, like there's airports, all these different like naval bases. Majority of our venues here in Jacksonville, like, you just are not allowed to fly. It's just, you aren't allowed to do it, period. Like, FYI, I don't know if you've ever put in a request to drone in a certain area before, like I have, but if it's in a military zone, you just don't even request. Just know that it's gonna be a no. Like, they will just tell you straight up, no. And that's it. There's no arguing it. There's no put in another request. They just say no. Yeah, so that's that. Like, and on top of that, like, I don't know. If you do find airspace to fly in, it's just not like the most pleasing space to really get a shot of anything. So a lot of the times it just ends up not being worth it. So you just spent all this time, money. Like, drones are not the cheapest things. They're more affordable now than they were, but they're still not like super cheap if you want a good one. And this one I just struggle with because I just don't feel there's enough value for drones to be as expensive as they are. Now, granted, the FAA has just thrown like so many different rules in that direction, and just like, it just seems like obnoxious. There's fines for freaking everything. Now, granted, there's been probably tons of dumb people doing dumb things, flying drones where they know they shouldn't, and using them for the wrong things. Yes, those people exist in everything, and they ruin it for everyone. But, again, I just don't use my drone enough to justify jumping around all these rules and all of that stuff. Like, I'll get a cool shot here too, and mainly it's not even for weddings or my wedding stuff. It's mainly for when I do my off-roading stuff. Like, I get cooler shots when I off-road with my drone, and that really only comes across because it helps show the scale of where I'm at and what's going on around me. Other than that, it does absolutely nothing. It sits in the car. And I don't know, I feel like it just comes across to me as a chore. Like, I gotta turn on the remote, I gotta screw the little toggles in, I gotta unfold the wings, I gotta take the cap off. Then I have to make a judgment call on how strong of an ND filter I need. Is it overcast? Is it super bright and sunny? Is it sunset? Like, do I gotta put a weaker ND filter on and just roll with that? Like, it's so tedious. And I feel like once it's up in the sky, like, whatever I get, I'm genuinely like hoping and praying that it looks good. And sometimes it does. I feel like, yeah, majority of the time it's a cool shot or cool enough. But then the shots that I'm just like, this just didn't work out, it hurts my soul. Genuinely. I feel like it's just not worth it. And that, to me, is annoying. Let me know if you have different thoughts about that. Maybe for you, it's like totally worth it. Your clients pay for it and make sure it's worth it. And I don't know, maybe it's a different experience for you. There are certain shots that I've seen on drones that I'm just like, wow, that's insane. But then I also look at the location and I'm like, well, you're in Hawaii. I hope it looks freaking dope. Like, or, I don't know, you're in like freaking Iceland. Like, it better look sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, here I'm in like, it's a venue and it looks all right. Like, these are my genuinely honest thoughts. So I'm not trying to be offensive or mean, but I genuinely think that most drone shots of like wedding venues are just meh. They're really not as cool as I want them to be, or how they should look. Just saying. Again, not saying that to be mean, but it is what it is. Time out. Now, just to clarify, I do understand that I do have the cheaper end of the drones. So, again, maybe that's on me. Maybe I need a better drone. But again, I haven't ever flown anywhere to where I need a better drone shot. Like, or where a better drone, in my opinion, makes a difference. Again, I could be wrong. The one thing that I'm like, that I feel like just looks so cool and is very unique, and obviously is a very specific feature on more expensive drones, is the telephoto. I think a telephoto drone shot is one of the coolest looking drone shots you can get. 100%. It's so unique. It has a flair to it. It's such a specific look that is just not normal with drones, especially when they're doing like a tracking shot. Like, you're on a telephoto in the sky following, I don't know, whatever it is, like a vehicle. Coolest freaking shot. To me, that is the main reason you buy a drone, for a shot like that, because there genuinely is no replicating that shot. You have to have a telephoto on a drone to get that shot, because my drone will not do that. I've tried cropping in, I've tried all that other stuff. It does not work on my drone, and that's fine. But like, that would be a reason why I would love to upgrade if I ever do. But to me, I don't use drones enough. Now, again, you can educate me if you feel this way, but are FPV drones that cool or good enough to actually use like that? Like, how, I'm trying to think of how to say that, because I know I'm not wording it right, but are FPV drones, can you use those for weddings? Because if so, I'll sell my Mini 3 Pro now and get an FPV, because I feel like those FPV shots are way more unique, and I do appreciate FPV drones more than your typical normal drone. But at the same time, I feel like the quality of the video is just not, it's not there. It's not the same. And I feel like the workflow is not as easy either. Like, obviously you have to stabilize. I don't know. I feel like there's more work that goes into it, which probably makes the end result more satisfying. I could be wrong. But if you could use it like a normal drone, I'd probably end up getting one instead, because it's just more versatile than the normal Mini 3. But again, it could just be because I'm trying to shoot with a Mini 3 instead of, like, I don't know, what's out now, like a 4. Again, I'm probably not as into the drone world as I probably should be to be talking on this topic. So anyways, let me know down below. Am I just off on it? Like, am I just wrong? It's okay if I'm dead wrong on this. I'm just speaking my mind, and I feel like for drones, they're just, for the most part, blanket statement, are overrated. Obviously, unless you're getting like an Inspire. I feel like if you're spending that kind of money, you're into drones and you know what shots work and which ones don't, and that price is justified then. To me, it's more so establishing shot, and that's really the only shots you see from the drone for me. I've used it a few other times in different situations, but genuinely, that's typically how it comes across, and that's kind of it. So anyways, that's my little night rant on this drive. Anyways, hope you're having a good one. Hope it's been a great day for you, and that you continue to have a fantastic day, whenever you're listening to this. And God bless you. Continue to hope your business thrives. Anyways, on that note, see you guys on the next one. Peace.